I think at half time we felt that 200 was definitely gettable. I think we've seen over the last couple of years there at Eden Gardens, that's sort of around about a pass score, maybe 10 more than a pass score. Probably in hindsight, that back end of our bowling innings, they scored pretty freely. I think they scored 60 odd in that last 4 overs. But certainly at half time we certainly felt we were in the game, and I think unfortunately just in that power play we obviously lost 3 wickets in the first 3 overs, and yeah, I guess that's the style of players that we have up the top. They're aggressive. They've been lauded for a year and a bit, and rightfully so, for the style of play that they played. And just the last couple of games it hasn't quite worked, but we've got no doubts that our top order, our batters will come good, and we've got every faith and trust in them, coming into this next game that we play against Gujarat on Sunday. So, look, it's just one of those days where it hasn't quite gone according to plan. There's obviously, some frustration within the group, but we're still very early days in this IPL, and we've got a lot of quality players within our group that can certainly turn it around. So, yeah, just a frustrating day. Yeah, well, I mean, we've obviously been here a couple of days, and we've sort of been observing how the pitch has sort of been prepared over the last couple of days. History suggests that, the last couple of years bowling first is the way to go here. There might have been a little bit of grip there second half of the innings for the spinners for KKR, but again, they're world-class operators, and their ability to come through in the middle of the innings, I guess after our power play, after we'd lost wickets, they probably felt that they could control certainly the way that they wanted to bowl. So look, again, it's just a frustrating aspect of today's game, is that through that power play, we lost wickets. We weren't able to really put pressure on their spinners, and they were able to go to work, the quality spinners that they are. So as I said, at half time, that 200 score, we certainly felt like we could have chased it down. We just obviously didn't get the start we wanted, and we were always behind the 8 ball, so to speak, throughout our batting innings.
Barring the issue dismissal, which is a quick shot which was caught in the cover, then could you possibly concede that maybe the bowlers this time were actually outskilled the openers of SRH? I mean, it wasn't just aggressive batting which got the wickets. The bowlers probably outskilled the openers, because it happened for 3 games in a row again. KKR especially, kind of bowling attacks they have got. Any thoughts on that, or do you still think it's aggressive batting for around?
Look, we could pick the bones out of every dismissal if you really wanted to, and you're right in saying that the last few outings KKR have certainly taught us a lesson if we go back through last IPL as well. Again, you don't want to take away from the natural intent of our top order and the way that they bat, because as you've witnessed, as we've witnessed, quite a lot over the last year, it's breathtaking when it's going well, and just the last couple of games it hasn't quite worked. They see the ball, they hit the ball, they know their own game plans and the way that they want to bat, and it's probably a combination of things not quite working for them at the moment, and maybe a little bit of that skill that you say with the way that KKR opening bowlers bowled tonight. They took the pace off a little bit straight from the get-go. So maybe a perfect storm between those two combinations, but I think you'll see as we go through this that our batting group will certainly fire and put some bowling attacks under some real pressure.
One more follow-up. I mean, I think you're a bowling coach, a little bit question about the batting itself. Is that, will this change based on the performance of the last 3 games? Or do you still think this is the way to go? Even if 3 times it's wrong, the 4th and 5th time it's fine. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I go back to the first game. I think everyone was very much of the opinion that, we're just taking off from where we left last year in the style that we batted. So, yes, whilst it probably hasn't worked probably the last 2 games, because even in the second game we got close to 200. That can just sometimes be the nature of the game that we play, and the way that particularly our batters want to play the game, and we want them to play the game. So, yes, whilst it hasn't been our best stuff these last 2 games, you know, as I said, we've got every confidence within our group and within the individuals within our group to go out and play that attacking brand that I think we know and we've shown from an SRH point of view over this last year or so.
How do you assess the bowler's performance in the 10 overs? Was there basically the assessment or the execution, a lot of runs to the field, and then speak of the battles for SRH? Or by the bowlers are getting it up for battles or making up for it?
Yeah, again, it's probably just a slight combination of both those parts of your question, the assessment and the execution. I mean, 65, I think, off that last 4 overs probably reflects that we didn't get it quite right. Halfway stage, I think KKR were 84 or 85 for 2, and yeah, I think if we got the back 10 overs right, we probably could have held them to 170, 180. But yeah, we didn't get it quite right. The execution wasn't quite there, and you know, sometimes as a coach, you sit there and think, okay, well, could we have done things a little bit better? Could we have technically been a little bit braver with some aspects of it? And those are conversations that we'll obviously have in the coming days before we go again on Sunday. Yeah, it's reflections, but I guess between myself and the individuals that were out there, and we'll obviously look to come back better with particularly that depth execution. But I think up until that point, you know, that first sort of 3/4 of our bowling innings was pretty good stuff. Again, you could look at a lot of things and wish you could have time again. That's the nature of the game. Kamindu came in and bowled a really good over. The matchup was really good for him to come in, and he obviously got a wicket as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more to do with the fact that maybe those last few overs just got away a little bit on us, again through maybe a little bit of assessment, a little bit of execution, and that's probably more what we need to reflect on, rather whether or not tactically it was the right decision to not bowl Kamindu Mendez another over.
Since is Shami bowling in top mid or is he still in the process of getting into the group? Because we all know he has come back from a long injury layoff and it might take some time.
Yeah, I think today was probably his strongest performance for us with the ball since he's come in. And let's not forget that he also missed IPL last year, and I think that whole sort of change in the batting tempo that we've seen in IPL. So him and I and him within the bowling group are having some really good conversations around you know, the ability to adapt. We know what a world-class bowler he is, and certainly with the new ball, you know, he's always going to create half opportunities or opportunities, and you know, we saw that today with the ball. So yeah, it's just a process of looking at how we can get better as a bowling group, how individuals can keep progressing and getting better, and you know, Shami's a very experienced campaigner, world-class campaigner. So today was, I thought, a strong performance for him, and I'm sure he'll get better and better as we go through the IPL. Cheers, guys. Thank you.